All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Quad Pod. I'm Greg, joined by Marilyn, James, and Rich. What's up, folks?
Hey there.
Hello.
Bonjour.
It's very apropos.
Yeah, it is.
Too soon?
No, it's not too soon.
Welcome, folks. We've got a little bit of a mishmash of a show tonight, but we're going to talk about Marilyn's experience.
Non-race
at Mont Tremblant last week, and then tied into that, we here in the Northeast United States, we are dealing with some major air quality issues tied to some wildfires up in Canada, and we're going to dig into that and how that's going to affect our training. And I think it's something that is something that people out west in the United States have to deal with like pretty regularly. So a couple of little bits of information on these, but and then we're going to talk a little bit about open water swimming. As the weather warms up here in New Jersey, the opportunity to get in some open water swims are pretty big. So talk about how we can improve upon our swimming technique and fitness and stuff that will carry over to being faster in the open water. Because sometimes I think we get into times in the pool and those times don't always match up with what happens when we get in open water.
Rarely.
So, so we'll talk about some of those things. So a couple of different things. Marilyn, we're all gutted for you.
Really, truly. I woke up, I'm like, oh, let me check the tracker. And then I'm like, where is it on the tracker? Like, what's going on?
I know. Well, before we even get to that, I have to say, everyone's got to make their way to Mont Tremblant.
Oh.
It's that good.
That's what I keep hearing from people.
I mean, for starters, the energy, there are people there that are there just to spectate. So it's that cool. And I didn't even get to experience the 70.3 or the full, just for the Olympic. The crowd was insane. I could hear from my hotel room the people and like the noise outside when the race had started.
I'm getting chills just imagining
so
that.
It's that cool.
The village or the area.
Yeah.
Tell us, is it like Queen? Is it big, small?
It's not that big. It's
sorry.
That's all right. It's kind of small. But the village, the whole place transforms all about Ironman. If you can, you have to stay in the village if you're doing one of these races because it's just it's like a convention of triathletes. Like everybody in the hotels like got their bikes and everybody's kind of there for the same purpose. You go out to eat and everybody has
their bikes.
Kits, bibs, helmets on.
Tons of people throughout the day going for a run, going for their bike ride, swimming, because you could swim. The race was Sunday. You could swim from Friday on.
Oh, wow.
You could just jump in the water. It's
How
such a
far
cool
were you
moment.
from where you set up or transition or
From
check-in?
my hotel?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like a 2-minute walk to transition. I was right across the street, which isn't like a road that cars travel on, from the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feasibly stop in your hotel room mid-race?
Yeah. I mean, not mid-race because, where the race is, but the finish line was right there.
Oh, so at that point,
and not just my hotel, like it's not that big of a village. So everything's like really close. Obviously, not everybody stays that close. Some people stay further out, but I mean, if you can, that's the place to stay.
For the full Ironman, if it's is it a 2-loop run?
Yeah.
After the first loop, go into your hotel room, shower, 20-minute nap, go back out.
You'll really want to go back out and finish up.
Yeah. But it is like just the energy of being there is so cool.
Oh man.
So
Good.
Can you walk us through what your experience, what happened kind of?
So we, I walked out. Well, I woke up in the morning and I was like, it's weird. There was a fireplace in my room and I was like, I don't remember it smelling so smoky, but it was still dark out.
Making s'mores last night.
I know it was still dark out. So I was like, all right, whatever. It didn't even dawn on me because there was nobody talked about the possibility that the days prior were nice.
And we were just worried about rain.
I know.
Leading up to this, right?
Yeah, that's all we were thinking about. So
which kind of like funny, not funny, but like
it would have been fine.
Rain would have helped the situation.
Yeah,
I think.
right?
Maybe. Yeah. So I got ready and I walked outside and I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, my first thought was, I can't believe they're going to have the race.
Could you smell it? Notice
You
when
could smell it. Was super smoky outside. You could smell it. You could,
wow.
yeah. But there were tons of people walking to transition. So I was like, all right, I guess we're doing this. And I went and, everybody was, people were there. I told my friend, I was like, I bet you a lot of people are not going to race. And he was like, people will, like, we're all, I think his words were, we're all athletes here.
What does that mean?
I know. So
I mean, you put in 9 months of training. You're
yeah, exactly. That's, in my head, I knew like it probably wasn't a good idea to do it, but like you just said, like I put in all this work, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
The swim start was, I think they said 2 kilometers or something, or a kilometer and change from transition. So it's quite a bit of a walk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got our stuff together and we put on our wetsuits and we started the walk because it's so far. Early on, they started telling everybody, like, once you're set up, please start making your way to the swim start. So they were even telling us to go. Like, the race was on. So we get to transition, to swim start, and it's really nice. It's like a little beach area. Like, there were actually, like, beach chairs. We pulled up beach chairs. We're sitting in the chairs because it was, like, 45 minutes before the start. So we're in the chairs and, everybody's just talking. And actually, a guy walked over and he was like, yeah, I think after the bike, I'm going to DNF. He's like, because I have asthma and I'll see how I feel, but I don't think I'm going to do the run because everybody was talking about the smoke. And then probably, 30 minutes before it was going to start, they said, everybody back to transition. And our first thought was the swim was canceled because it was so smoky and like foggy. It was weird. You could only see like 4 buoys out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So my friend was like, oh, maybe they're canceling the swim because there's low visibility. It's dangerous. And then as we started walking back, there were spectators with their phones and they were like, race is canceled. And yeah, that was not fun.
What were you feeling in that moment? Like,
in that moment, Yale was like he was pretty upset. And I was like, calm down. I was like, there are worse things that we can be experiencing right now than a canceled race. Like, it's not a big deal, whatever. People were talking about, oh, we're still going to bike. We're still going to swim. Like, we'll come back to the beach and swim later. And then I got back to my room and everybody was like, people were crying. Like, it was, a scene. Then I got back to my room and I walked in and I sat down and I was like, oh my God. Like, then it hit me.
Yeah.
And just thinking about like everything you do leading up to a race, the time, like, that was hard.
So how did you get through that?
Yeah, I don't know if I did.
Still,
it took a few days. Yeah.
What were you feeling first? Like anger?
I was just sad. I wasn't mad. Like, I think they made the right decision for sure. Like, nobody should have been racing. You're out there for so long breathing in. So I'm not mad about the decision. It was just hard. Like, all the work you put into it, you have like goals and all that stuff. It's
just
hard. It sucks.
Because even leading up to Eagle Man, we were very close for the same thing to happen. Like, the air quality was not good.
Yeah, that week before, right?
It
And
only cleared up like a day before.
The day before, right?
And we just went, just kind of, hopeful. Not even really, I guess, really concerned. But I remember looking at it and I was like, man, like, what do I do if the air quality is bad and they still have the race? Like, do I race? And I was trying to like really think about, would I be more disappointed not racing because of all the work put in, or would I regret racing and then like hacking up my lungs afterwards, or knowing what kind of damage did I do? So it was like just mentally playing that out before. I didn't even know how I would do it. I just can't imagine.
It's really hard to say like, no, I'm not going to do it because like you put in so much work. And like, I know Greg said like, well, your fitness will still be there. You didn't lose any of that, but I don't know. You have like these goals for every race, right? And I don't know. It's hard.
And I feel like it's not even about like, oh, are they going to refund the money? What kind of race?
No, I didn't even care about that. Like I want to race.
Outcome. Like you want to put
exactly.
yourself...
I did all this work. I want to like see what the outcome is now, not like, in 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. You handled it better than I think I would have.
I know.
Did people go out biking?
I didn't. We left like a couple hours after. There were people swimming. I saw like 2 or 3 people swimming. I know I texted with Yvonne and she was, we were going back and forth and I was like, yeah, I'm really upset. And I was like, but I feel stupid being upset because I should know better. Like, this is not a big deal. And she was like, are you kidding? I'd be burning the place down.
Just add to the fire.
Add to the fire.
Yeah.
Add it there.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think I'd be as upset as I was. And I was.
So I remember I was bummed because I was looking forward to tracking you that day, but then I had to volunteer for a swim meet. My daughter wanted me to cover, so I was on the morning shift. And I remember pulling up to the parking lot, and I was like, "Oh, the race should be starting soon." I opened up the app, and I see that. I'm like, "Oh my god! Like what?"
Yeah.
And I was devastated.
I know.
I was trying to imagine what you were feeling.
Yeah, it's hard. After I was talking to Yale's wife. She's like, "Come on, let's get coffee." We went for coffee, and I started talking to her about like my training, and like my eyes watered up. I was like, "Oh my god, what is happening?"
Did you guys find a bar or a liquor store open at that hour?
No, we decided to just come home. We didn't, because it was even worse because they were like tearing everything down all like right away. They started just taking everything down, and we were like, what are we going to stay for?
What was the car ride back like?
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quiet.
Just quiet.
A little cranky for some parts, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Yeah, I got nothing to say.
I know, you move on. Coming back, and then I think also what was like, all right, so now what? Right? Like, because then that was the next talk. Like, all right, what are we going to do? Like, there's this race, there's that. And like, there are other options, but like, you have this plan hopefully set up for, the season. And it's like, where do things fit in? And what do I do now? Am I just going to train for the full year? So all those questions too, just add to the frustration, of like,
yeah.
So what
now?
What did Ironman end up doing?
Oh my gosh. They more than I think anybody expected. Pretty much they gave every possible option. You could either go back in August for the 70.3, which is August 20th, I think, the same day as the full Ironman.
A new race that there's not normally a half.
No,
that
there
day.
is not.
So they're like,
right.
We're going to run a half.
Right. So consecutively, they're going to run a 70.3 and the full on the same day. Then you could also defer to next year's 70.3. You can get your money back, or you can upgrade to a full Ironman at the same price.
So it's basically like not a free Ironman, but
like half price
Ironman.
Yeah.
Did they also offer to do another Ironman somewhere? Like,
no.
Could you?
No, it had to be that one. And not only Ironman, but even the hotels sent like a whole email. We're sorry for everything that happened. With you could rebook without giving a deposit and 5% off.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have to do anything, the hotels really.
But like, I feel like that town just is like really a good community. Everyone I've talked to who's done that race.
Every place, every restaurant, they were all about the race. Like, oh, are you racing? Which race are you doing? Like, everybody was super into it.
So that would be a race where after the race you could wear your medal around.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's every race for me.
Yeah, right.
I remember Rich came in here once after AC, and he came in with everything from AC.
All the swag.
He had like the hat, the medal. He brought in the wet bag. Like,
I think I was here that day. Yeah.
Shirt, the bag, the medal,
everything.
The hat, everything.
So, Greg, we have to ask the expert. Could we work August 20th in before Wilmington?
We already talked about it.
Yeah.
It's a tough weekend for her.
Yeah. It doesn't fit into life. So
I was saying, like, can we all collectively
work
it?
I don't think that race is open to non.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I have to look on the Ironman site and see if it's there. But
that would make sense. Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if it is.
I mean, they would have to first see who did that one, and then if not enough people did.
I mean, there were over 3,000 athletes for this race.
Yeah, it was a huge race.
Huge. I mean, the lines, that was the only negative, which from people we talked to, they said it's not always like that. The lines for registration, even bike check-in, there was a line, although that didn't take as long, but there was quite a bit of a line that we had to stand in.
You showed us video. How long did you end up waiting on that line?
We waited for like an hour and 45.
For check-in.
For check-in.
Wow.
The ride at the end wasn't even worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, for check-in. I think, you know how usually, well, not usually in the 2 races that I've done, like you go in and there's the iPad person, then they give you another table, gives you the chip, and then like, you know, there's stations. This is one person doing all that work. Like there are several stations, but that person, whoever,
Oh, wow.
that person does everything for you.
That's not efficient.
No.
Yeah.
Do you think they were short on help because like the Olympic was going on also? Like were the Olympic people checking in also at the same time?
Yeah.
I wonder if like Saturday's check-in would have been better.
All weekend there was a
was
line.
Like
yeah.
Oh, wow.
People said that it's never been like that before, that there was always a little line, but not like that. So I don't know what happened.
Well, hopefully, I mean, like Muscle Man, the swim start was a debacle, and then when we did Eagle Man, they fixed it for that. So I don't know if they just they like see feedback and they just start propagating stuff,
or who knows that they didn't have enough volunteers this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think it just goes by year to
yeah.
Maybe next year will be better.
But other than that, everything was, I mean,
there's
amazing.
nothing else to do, so wait online.
Athlete briefing was like great, and big giant screen.
Really want to do that race, but then you always have to think, will there be a fire?
There's always next year. I mean, this year I wouldn't go back, but that's the other thing about August 20th. Like, who's to say that you go back in August and the same thing doesn't happen again?
That's like a new thing now we have to think about
until those fires are out. Yep.
Yeah. So what did you decide to do?
I just got a refund.
Are you going to try to sign up for something in between now and Wilmington?
Yes, I'm signed up for 2 Olympics.
Nice.
Yeah. Greg talked me off the ledge. We came up with a plan.
Which Olympics?
I don't even know what they're called. Do you remember?
Next weekend is Litchfield Hills, something like that, up in Connecticut.
Okay.
Change away, I think.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
And the other next one weekend?
Yeah.
That's cool.
July and the 8th. Other one is
I
don't even know.
Down the Pine Barrens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Pine Barrens.
That's beginning of September.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think Rich might join us. Maybe
I might. Yeah.
At the Pine Barrens
next weekend.
Or next weekend.
Oh, next weekend. I don't know if I could do next weekend, but the Pine Barrens might be an option.
You should do all the races.
It's true.
Just all of them.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
They are. I like them.
Did you check if NJ State was clear for your calendar?
No, but I don't remember why.
You said maybe you had something.
Yeah, but
Monday.
now I don't remember what it was.
Mm.
No,
right, it sounds like a no.
That sounds like a no.
It sounds like a no that he doesn't want to say no to.
It's okay. It's
no,
all right.
New Jersey State, I can't do it.
All right, that's fine. Just wanted
So
to know.
I might be able to do next weekend, but I have to look.
Didn't you just say you couldn't?
I don't think so, but I'll take a look again. I want to.
Ironman 2024. It's my vote.
I think it's getting my vote too.
We're gonna go in with like could be 6,000 feet of elevation, could be 12,000 feet of elevation.
I know. I never got to oh my gosh, the lake is so nice. The water, so nice, clear.
Yeah. But here's my fear.
What?
So imagine the devastation of training 6-9 months for the half, and then it's
not going to be a fire next year.
Well, you can't think
apparently
about that.
this is a seasonal thing. When I'm in
my
vast research,
it's never been. They've been running that full there for a long time, and never canceled it.
Yeah,
that's like, but it's the same thing as worrying about COVID.
Right.
Same. Right.
Because it's like,
and you can't.
You didn't know.
Yeah, you can't plan like that.
This was a record year of fires.
Yeah.
For them,
which is what we're going to get into next, right?
And the season's not even over. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys notice on the way over today? It's
like hazy.
It's pretty
out.
bad today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 150 something, I think, is the air quality.
Which is crazy. Like these weird things happen, and you suddenly start talking about air quality index and particulate counts and stuff like that when you never even knew that shit existed.
Right.
Yeah. The PM 2.5.
Right.
Yeah.
2.5 micron particles, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So the question was, how did we get here? Basically.
Yeah, and like, did anybody know? So it was, I guess, the week before. Was it the week before Eagle Man?
Yeah.
That this first kind of came down our way.
Yeah.
Did anybody know it was coming
No.
until it got here?
No.
Okay.
No.
So I was at
it wasn't
work.
Just me.
I was here, and I remember just like, why the color of the sky was just weird.
Yeah.
For like maybe a couple hours, I didn't even notice what was going on. And then I think somebody texted me like about forest fires. I was like, what? And then I stepped outside and I could smell the smoke.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I was like, it's coming from Canada? This is crazy. And then like it just, and like wildfire spread amongst everybody's social groups. And like everyone's like fixated on the fire thing. But
someone texted me and was like, you could smell the fires outside. I'm like, you're crazy. What? I went outside. I was like, what?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, I was on a golf course and like
I know.
I had like
I was worried about you. I was like, you need to go home.
Over like the 2 hours we were out there, I just watched it get worse and worse and worse. And one of the people I was with was like, yeah, there's forest fires up in Canada. And I'm like,
yeah, I had the same reaction.
That doesn't, for everybody listening, I just made a face. It just doesn't seem like it should happen.
Yeah.
But the wind was blowing the right way. So they're obviously still dealing with are these same fires?
Yeah, it's active fires.
Apparently that's an unpopulated area in Canada to care
which is
for
like all of Canada, right?
Canada's huge.
Yeah, Canada's huge. And so to care for like they're very conscious about their forests and wooded areas. They haven't, I think, maintained them, like trimmed them. So people are having trouble getting to them in order to put the fire out.
There's also more than how many? It's a crazy amount of fires.
Yeah, a lot of them. And
they've
since
had 500 so far, and I think like 263 are currently active.
Right, and since it's an unpopulated area, there's no way to get water. There's no there's no hydrants. There's no
and that's like the root of the problem is that it's been a dry season. They've had drought.
The worst in like how many years?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like here we got no snow this winter, and last winter we really didn't get a lot. So like they could be going on a couple of years worth of limited snowpack and rainfall and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think they usually like the fires start later in the season. Like they do get fires, but what did I write here? I think it usually peaks in July or starts in July. It started in April this year for them. So it's just
we're getting unprecedented because of the wind,
the way the wind is blowing. So I guess
the jet streams
turns it a certain way because it's usually blowing from us to like north, and now it's like sometimes it turns, and these turns is what we're getting, which is just awful.
And while I was up there, it came into where we were, and then on the way home there was smoke all the way to like Lake Placid.
Yeah. And we don't know how long until the winds turn, we're going to have smoke.
So here's some data you want to hear about how the enormity of this. So far, almost 18 million acres of land has been burned, or forest or whatever. 500 fires total so far, and 160 megatons of air pollutants have been released into the air so far. So this is like that's the highest reading they've ever gotten since they started measuring that number. So it's definitely... Hopefully, it's like a once in a lifetime thing that, selfishly for us, that doesn't affect our Ironman next year. Besides the human cost and environmental damage, like
all that stuff is like once the stuff that can burn has burned, then there's nothing left.
Good point.
But if it keeps spreading, it'll continue to burn.
I mean, eventually it'll burn itself out. But like that's what you had. Gosh, forever ago in Yellowstone, when Yellowstone dealt with these massive forest fires, it
wasn't this big, was it?
I don't know what the
I remember them
what the total
the fires.
Square footage or square miles were, but it was because they had put off these controlled burns that they like to do, and it built up and then
out of control burn.
You get an out of control burn, So. It was like I forget what year those were, but I went to Yellowstone in 2005, and I want to say it was like the 80s, the late 80s or something like that. So 15, 20 years later, you could still see the effects of the fire.
And they don't put them out to what Marilyn was saying. You
can't.
They just try to contain them. And Canada's so rural up there. They're like,
they're
just like,
right. Like roads are great. Roads will stop it from moving, but there's no
roads there.
Even if you had a helicopter with one of those buckets, like
that's
you'd
not
need
enough.
like a million. You'd need like millions of helicopters.
Yeah,
It's just wait till winter, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what happens.
We'll just wait it out.
Heavy rains, that's probably
the question is like, why would they schedule August 20th? Like that has to be some kind of formula there, right?
Well, I'm sure there's only so many times that they could schedule a race like that.
But the factor has to be like, are the fires still going to keep going?
They don't know.
Well, they didn't reschedule it for August 20th. That's the date that the
full is on. So they're like, well, we'll just do both. Yeah.
They asked the fires when are they going to be over, and they said come back in August.
It's crazy. That's all. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So much fire.
So basically, what do you do as an endurance athlete? Since especially multi-sport, we have to spend a lot of time outside.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, for me, wearing a mask and doing all that stuff outside is not an option.
That's not an option.
And I've heard
either.
that the masks that we can get aren't really going to help.
You need the ones with the filter.
You need the N95 or higher,
Yeah.
but even the ones that have the ear loop is not real. Like you need the
still gets inside.
OSHA fitted, where
Right.
it's like around the
Yeah.
you're here and here
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
tight.
Now that he said that, does that mean the house filter has to be much better than an N95 mask?
What house?
Like your
filter.
AC
Your
filter.
house filter.
No, I don't think so.
My house has doors and windows. Like
It's,
No, but
it's getting in
stopping
anyway.
No, yeah,
you're not
but I
supposed to
you're
have,
I mean,
like
think
a-
about my hotel room. I was probably sleeping and breathing.
right. So like it's coming into the house,
but not
Yeah.
as not at
But
the
not as bad.
concentration
Yeah,
of
probably
outside.
not as bad.
But your HEPA filter, like even if you have a HEPA filter at home, you shouldn't even have. From what I've heard from HVAC guys, they say you're just wasting money getting a HEPA filter.
Yeah. Is this basically like now what was the toilet paper shortage? We're going to have the filter shortage.
Yeah.
You're going to go to Home
Everybody's
Depot.
looking.
Everybody's
for
got filters.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think being inside is definitely better because like
Yeah.
I was outside most of the day today, and my eyes are burning from being
Yeah.
outside. And I had sunglasses. Like I don't think it was like the sun. I think it was the smoke that slowly. I didn't notice it until later on in the day that it was getting hazy around here.
Mm-hmm.
But
So main strategy is train indoors.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think that's everything. That's keep it light.
Do gyms have better air circulation filtration?
I think inside is just better than outside as long as the
No.
windows and doors are closed.
Mhm.
Like you're not going to have 100% sealed, but I would imagine a commercial place is probably better. It's
Yeah, probably right.
yeah.
Mhm.
So if you have access to treadmill,
Yeah.
you're not going to be swimming inside unless you have a endless
Cool.
pool or
Well,
No,
Oh,
you're
indoor
going
pool.
to a
Indoor
pool.
pool. Oh
Most-
my god.
most pools.
well, no more,
Yeah.
no more open water swims,
Yeah.
Mhm.
trainer bike,
Yep.
trainer rides.
Trainer, treadmill, pool.
Yeah, I mean you can
Shoot
keep
me.
it going.
But you
It's-
just shoot yourself
know.
for those long
That's-
rides on the trainer.
Yeah.
3 hours. Yay.
Like imagine if this was like ramping up to
It's
like
Iron
Iron
Man.
Man,
Yeah.
and you had these key sessions.
Oof.
If you had
Yeah.
to do like an 8-hour bike or
But
a
the thing
6-hour
is that
bike.
this is not, at least for us here, this is not, every day. We had
Right.
3 days that we couldn't really work out outside.
we
So,
say that
I mean,
now, and COVID was supposed to be 2 weeks too.
oh,
Because all depend on how the
But-
wind
Yeah.
goes, right? Like
Exactly.
yeah. But I mean, how long can it be?
Right. Around here, it seems like the mornings are a lot better.
Yeah.
You
Didn't-
know,
Didn't for like the Tokyo Olympics they clear the air quality with some like guns or that they shot into the
What?
like they
yeah the air quality
they
for
killed
the
like the particles, like they just
yeah they
shot
like
them to
shot
death.
something into the air to like disperse the clouds.
no,
or
I think it was to
whatever.
actually make clouds.
make clouds.
Oh,
Yeah.
silver nitrate.
something. They did something.
Why?
right,
like
Because it
cloud
was
seeding.
hot or something? I don't know.
'Cause the air
to
quality.
help like suck up
Oh, because the clouds will
like
suck. Yeah,
crap
yeah,
that's in the air.
So
Huh.
think about that. Also,
Interesting.
like so people who live like in China, like in
yeah. They exercise
like
outside.
heavily populated cities, India, like
Yeah.
they just have terrible
Terrible air quality,
air quality all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if the particulate size is different. That's like smog versus.
I think that's a big difference that
Yeah.
when you have bad air quality, you don't have like pieces of things. That's what
Yeah, I mean,
actually does
did,
harm.
Did you share pictures of like ash
Yes.
on people's?
Someone, there was ash
On
on,
the seat.
some of the seats. Yeah, the
Yeah.
bicycle seats. I didn't see any, but some people did.
Yeah,
And it did look in.
there was a
it
guy
did-
smoking next to that. Bike. some French Canadian like.
Ad.
Yeah.
We should talk about the dangers though of training through this.
Yeah, I mean anything you inhale into your lungs
Yeah,
is
it's not good.
not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
Any little particulates are going to get in there and get caught and cause inflammation and potential reactions to it.
There's both like so short term, you get
Sure, it's
irritation,
long-term, too.
coughing,
Yeah.
sneezing, all that, burning eyes, whatever. But there's actually like
Mhm.
long term stuff that the people talk about or you can cause permanent damage to your body. So it's definitely not worth it because there's cardiovascular risk, and then you're more susceptible to respiratory infections afterwards. So it's not worth it.
But we're all walking our dogs, right?
Yeah.
I think like intensity too.
Just checking.
Right. And how long you're out there for.
Yeah.
When it was bad here, I was wearing a mask when I walked my dog. I mean, my dog, no. I'm sorry. But
like you're only going to live for 12 years.
Yeah. Me, wearing a mask.
Were you? Yeah, I didn't wear a mask walking my dog.
I didn't either, but
I didn't go for like real long walks
Right.
with my dog.
Yeah, I would just start coughing. It was just like would really irritate.
I never noticed that. For me, it was my eyes. That's where I like right now. I feel like I'm really tired. I'm not, but I feel like I could just close my eyes. And
when we were in Canada, we were walking to the swim start. There was one part you walk up this big hill, and I was like, I can't breathe. It's the smoke. I think it was all in my head because it was really smoky.
Maybe not. Some of the side effects they say is fatigue, extreme fatigue from poor air quality. So you're getting less oxygen, apparently.
Yeah, I'm with Marilyn. It's like, did I light the fireplace? But I don't have a fireplace. What happened?
Yeah, I never smelt it inside. When it was around here, it was always outside. You'd walk out and get hit with a whiff of it.
But then this is like remember that guy in China that ran like a sub 4-hour marathon while chain smoking the entire time? Like that's what this guy has been training for this entire time.
He's ready for it.
He's like he would just win. He's ready.
Yeah,
he would.
Yeah.
Maybe something we add to training.
No.
Smoke while you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that would work too
No.
well.
You guys think other races are going to go too?
I mean, I think Muscle Man that one's looking.
Yeah, that's in 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when's Placid?
What's the
week
number?
after.
Do they have a number? Is it like 150, 170, 200?
No, Ironman says they have a number, but will not share that number.
Oh,
they won't
really?
hold.
Is that
Yeah,
what
they
they
probably
said?
will not hold
No,
themselves.
they do say we have a required air quality.
Maybe it's different based on the
Parameter.
area.
Why though?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
it would be based on
The
the
town
area.
makes the call. I
No.
don't know.
No, it's Ironman's number.
It's all a calculation.
They told us, because people were asking if it was Canada said like you can't have the race, or if Ironman, and then they said it was 100% Ironman made the decision.
No, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. They don't want to get sued.
That's the calculation
That's
they're
it.
making.
Yeah.
They're like how much money they're going to lose by not holding the race versus how much liability is going to be opened up to them if they do run the race.
Yeah,
So yeah, they do have some kind of index that
You're
they're
a
looking
risk
at.
man.
I know.
Mm-hmm. That's
Or
what I'm saying.
you just knew the answer. You just wanted us to say it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why they have to have a number. Or they have to have a calculation of some sort.
They just won't share
They
it.
won't share it, which is
I wonder why.
Well, because if it was like, say the number was 135 and it's at 136,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the water
They're just
temperature.
like,
it's whatever number they measure, right? So
Right.
they
Yeah,
could be
they-
measuring it inside the house.
they'd keep
It's
blowing
fine.
on the sensor while it's like 136, 135, got it.
yeah, we're good.
We're
Race. Yeah, I don't know. It stinks, but like I was saying at the beginning, people out west, this is a yearly occurrence. I guess like northern Canada, it's also a yearly occurrence, but the wind doesn't blow that way most of the time, so we don't deal with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, this was a huge thing. Now I wonder, like you said, it was the highest thing in history in Canada or like globally.
For Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Canada.
probably globally too.
Have they ever been this big in California? I don't know.
I don't know. Like
I don't think they've burned this
California,
much.
Colorado,
this
like-
much.
It doesn't burn this
surface.
long, right?
Like the
Or
what was
the
it?
area.
18. How many million acres? Billion acres? What was it?
18 million acres. Like
Yeah.
I can't even
God,
God,
fathom.
like- that's
I
like a
don't even know.
state.
Yeah, that's
I actually
It's
I
like
don't
a
even know.
state
I-
burned
I
up.
think
Yeah.
it's bigger than a state.
I
Like
can't
certain
fathom.
states.
18 million acres. You know, like
Yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
honestly, no, I don't know.
No,
Like,
yeah.
that's one of those.
I
Like
just know it's a big number.
it's a
but
big number. I don't know. An acre is 200 feet by 200 feet. I think.
Still doesn't help me. Like,
No.
then
Like,
multiply
okay.
that by
Oh.
18 million. It's like, what
I
does-
want to say Harriman State Park is like 200,000 acres.
right. So 18 million.
So 5 times 18, it's 100
oh
Harrimans.
God, I have no internet.
If-
Why do I have no internet?
I could just be making that number up though. But yeah, I mean, it's a gigantic area. It has
Yeah.
to be if the smoke is getting down here and
Yeah.
causing.
Okay.
So We got, I mean, Muscle Man in 2 weeks. Who knows? But like,
Yeah,
because
Muscle
one
Man
day
goes
to the
down.
next, it could, like, they had the Olympic the race the day before, and
Yep.
the pictures you sent, Marilyn, looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, you know, the wind just shifts.
Oh, we forgot to ask about something.
What?
The rest of the apocalypse that happened there.
Oh, the moths. It was weird. I've never seen so many moths in my life.
That video you sent us, there's a part where you're looking at like the wall.
Those are moths.
But on the ground,
those
was
are
that
moths.
gravel?
Those are moths.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
it was like mounds.
And there were a few areas like that where they were just all like bees on a beehive. It was really weird.
Did you get any answers to why?
No, people from like Canada in that area, even they were saying like, we've never seen anything like this before. I don't know if it was the smoke that they were like fleeing the smoke or I have no idea.
And they just descended on.
Yeah, same.
Iron Man Village.
When I woke up, I put the lamp on in my room, and they were all on the window, like on the outside.
Oh my!
And I was like, that's weird. They must be attracted to the lamp I just turned on. But there was like a ton on my window.
Ugh.
Yeah.
We'll have to share that video maybe later if we can.
I know. It was
I don't know
crazy.
that,
Yeah, like imagine a beekeeper when they're like covered in
that's what it was
bees.
like.
Yeah, but moths.
Yeah. Ugh.
So I looked up states just to kind of have like a visual of it. Nothing that's exactly 18 million, but West Virginia is 15.5 million acres.
That's insane.
And South Carolina is 20.5 million acres.
Okay.
So like South
Average.
Carolina burning up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because I mean it's not over yet.
Right.
They're at
Mhm.
18 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
South Carolina's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have James written down here. How will this affect race planning and events in the future, considering Mont Tremblant Ironman next year? Is it going to make you, I mean, we said there's no perfect race, but having to worry about forest fires is...
It's like worrying about COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me.
Or anything else.
To me.
Mean,
Like
it could
jellyfish.
be,
It's like worrying about
Yeah,
jellyfish.
there could be terrible weather.
Or jellyfish.
I think Iron Man did the right thing. I think, they offered the right choices. I think
I
it's
did
a
not
personal
expect.
it's a personal defeat, absolutely, but like could be anything.
They
Yeah.
didn't have to offer anything because it wasn't their fault, right?
Yeah.
It's
what
an
I
act
was
of
texting
nature or
him,
whatever.
like,
There's
I said they don't.
No.
I hope they do something, but they don't.
they don't have to.
Because
I
they-
guarantee you, if you
PR
read
would have been
their
terrible,
right.
If they didn't.
But I guarantee you, if you read their, whatever, when you sign up, it says if for any
Yeah.
act of nature has to be
Yeah.
canceled,
Yeah.
they're not
Because they do
responsible.
offer race insurance.
Right.
And so if you didn't buy it,
Yeah. Too
Yeah.
bad.
that's what it's for.
I was expecting maybe defer to next year.
Yeah.
That was all I was expecting.
Right.
So,
No, this was the right thing.
yeah.
I mean,
I just,
again, personal horrible
Mm-hmm.
feeling, but I can't plan your races around like,
No.
It's true. It's just something, to add in to the calculation.
when they did New York here on the Hudson River, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
one time, like the water quality was
Yeah.
not good.
That's understating it a little bit.
Right.
There was like a raw sewage spill.
There was a raw sewage. And then that day it magically was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And people, I knew people who did it and they were like, we trained for 9 months.
Yeah.
We're going to swim through.
I will
ish if
swim
we
through
have to."
shit.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying, but that's what they said.
Exactly. So, I mean, you can't think
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
weird.
You just kind of
Yeah.
plan your races and hope Iron Man does the right thing.
I guess it's just like in my mind right now, a full Ironman for me is like a one and done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will do it
Right.
to do it.
Yep.
But I don't think I can commit that kind of
Time.
dedication and time to it consistently.
Mhm.
So I want to do one, and that'll be it, and then focus on
Yeah.
70.3s, just getting
Right.
fast. So if I miss that, if that doesn't happen that year, it just may not
It
ever
might not
happen.
ever
And I mean,
happen.
think about it. This has been going on since, what'd you say, since April, May? This is the first race that's canceled because of it.
Yeah.
So,
So far.
oh my gosh, be positive. So,
Well, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on what happens for. Could you imagine if you
well, I said to Yale, he's doing Muscle Man. I was like, oh my God, I don't even want to say it out
That's what I
loud.
say. Can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh,
That.
Like, I know someone who, of his own fault, like, didn't finish a race, DNF'd a race, and he's like, I'm going to find a way to get into Florida. And just like paid the whatever raise money for the race to get into it. Just because they were like, I've trained, I need to do it, I'm going to do it. So they just found another race to do.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then we talked about this before. It's, you know, the destination or the journey. And it's both. I think it's both. But I definitely would like enjoy both parts of it and can't really plan.
I feel like this is a lot of the thinking I did in the car on the way home is, so you train for a race that's on this day. So if I was like, all right, well, that didn't happen, so I'm going to do another race in a week or in 2 weeks, I'm going to be disappointed because in my performance, at least for me, because my training was so that I would race on this day. So like now, the next 2 weeks, it's more than likely after everything that happened, I'm not going to perform the same way as I probably would have on the race that was canceled.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I'm going to be disappointed no matter what. So it's better to just wash it out and plan for.
Did you wait at least 48 hours before making decisions?
Before making any concrete decision. Yeah, because in the 7 hours that we were driving home, I had like 5 different plans. So, and we, you know, the whole car ride, we just kept talking about like all different, like we can do this and you can do this and that, you know. So just running through all the possibilities.
Bargaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Now acceptance.
Yep.
I think it's part of the sport.
Yeah.
You're not doing like a 5K. Just pick up another one and your performance might be the same in a week or two. You're doing something significant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, fingers crossed.
Covered that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Last topic.
Totally switching gears.
Yeah.
Open water swimming.
Yeah, open water swim season.
We just said swim in a pool. Let's talk about open water swimming.
Right.
Oh, we're not under any restrictions yet.
I know.
So
today
are you waiting for someone to tell you not to go outside?
Yeah.
I know you're really worried about it. I feel.
No, but I mean, check your weather app. That alert's been there since yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only for people with like
asthma or whatever, breathing,
pre-existing conditions.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where we're at. People.
Oh, right, because you're trusting those people to make those decisions that they're using sophisticated math for.
Can only go by the information we're given.
Common sense. I'm a big believer in common sense.
Well, I worked out today outside and it was fine.
Well, they did say
I swam outside this morning-ish and that was fine. But it only started like this evening.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it till I was at the pool with my kids.
They did say like in the mornings it's better. Mornings and evenings or something.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And evening it looked more bad
it's
coming
pretty
over
hazy.
today.
Yeah.
Somebody stopped on the side of the road taking a picture of like that orange sun.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy. So open water swimming. Am I the only one that really likes it so much more than the pool?
So much more. What do you mean? I've been saying that forever. I love open water.
This topic is probably just for me because I'm the worst in the open water.
I love.
I'm not saying I'm good, but I like it way better than
so much better.
The laps back and forth.
I don't like it better than the pool.
No,
I like the pool.
That's because you come from a pool background.
I come from the pool.
He likes his flip 5 strokes.
Yeah.
Flip
Bane of the pool.
5 strokes.
Oh my God, I can't.
Flip 5 strokes.
Yeah.
There is like when you stop open water swimming and it gets too cold and you go back in the pool for a couple of weeks, you're like, oh, this is nice. This is nice. But then like by the time summer comes around again, you're like, oh,
yeah.
Where can I find?
And I just like having a destination. You know,
I'm
going somewhere. It's the other thing, like the Mont Tremblant swim course. You start, way out there. You got to swim way over there is where you end up. So like, all right, I have somewhere I got to go. as opposed to the pool.
I like that.
Ending up back where you started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like making progress.
Yeah, like I got to get there as fast as I can,
I'm not a fantastic swimmer. So in the pool, when I just about to hit that comfort, like I got this, flip turn. And then you're back to like, I just got this, flip turn. And it's kind of like that. But in open water, like I can zone into something for a while. More than.
Yeah.
I mean, if there were bigger pools around here, if we had some good 50 meters, I noticed that there's one in town that if I swim there, it's definitely better than swimming.
I can see that
because
it's not as many laps back and forth.
So how did you get to this level of comfort in the open water?
I don't have a sophisticated answer. I think I just been swimming since I was a kid, and it's kind of like always been swimming. So it's
in open water or just swimming in general?
In open water.
So as a kid, you were always used to open
lakes
water.
And stuff, and ocean and stuff, and yeah, I kind of just feel comfortable in the water.
What makes you uncomfortable in open water?
I think all the common things: low visibility, you can't see anything. You know where the bottom is.
That's so strange because when I start seeing like the weeds and stuff, no,
I know. I feel like I gotta swim
away. I don't want to see anything like dark. Cool.
Yeah, I don't want to see them either. I don't mind seeing through as long as there's no, those weeds coming at me.
Yeah,
that freaks me out.
Even like when I see the bottom, like I don't want to see the bottom.
I mean, I want to know, like, can I stand here or not, just in case.
Really?
I mean, these are the thoughts that go through my head, and then the in a race, all the contact. At first, I didn't want to impede somebody else. I felt bad, like messing someone else up. So I would always try to avoid people. Or if I like did make contact, I would kind of like stop and then like let them go and pass, and then I would go.
And now you're doing it on purpose.
So that's later.
I'm going to impede everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel comfortable. I mean, definitely cold water is uncomfortable.
Oh, the colder the better.
I think when you have to sight in a race too, like sometimes I can't tell where I'm going. That just elevates my stress level because I'm like, oh, am I totally off course? Like, am I, swimming did I do a 180 or a 90 degree turn? Am I just going into, I mean, at Whitecaw last year, at the end of the race coming in, I started swimming towards the entry for the next wave because I just caught like the swim caps, like, oh, that going that way. And then I think I saw someone telling me like, no, like move over. But I was like swimming right into them because I couldn't tell. But then it's just constant like, oh my, like.
So that was you.
Yeah, that's me. That was me going the wrong way.
Yeah. In a race, those things, like, especially the people that gets me too. But
yeah,
I like open water better.
Also, when you're like swimming either like the loops or whatever in open water, like when you're halfway through, you're like, oh, I still have to swim back or I have to finish whatever this is. In the pool, you're like,
I still have 500 more laps.
Whatever. Yeah. Or like, can I just get out? Like is whatever, 1,500 and I had to do 1,800. I could just get out of 1,500. Like, well, am I getting another 300? Like, but in open water, you're out there and you're like tired. Well, I still have to swim back there. So can't leave.
Does anyone ever not trust their buoy?
Do you not trust your buoy?
What do you mean?
Floats behind you.
Like it'll pop, or like it's fallen off, or
no?
I think that's what's slowing me down. It's
the
just
buoy.
dragging. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's it. I think we need to get you a therapist.
Yeah.
So I've come up with my own plan to make it better. I don't know if we're up to that point.
No.
But
Make the buoy better?
No. Well, you guys did talk about
better.
I thought that's what you meant.
No, I meant just getting better in the open water.
What about the suit?
Wait, what's your
The
plan?
suit doesn't like.
Because even if you're not swimming, just turn over and you're just.
You can.
I know all these things. I do it. I've tested it all, and it's like, oh yeah, I just relax, lie on my back. I'm just floating up on top of.
Right.
It's just like irrational. I don't know if it's irrational fears, but
yeah, they're irrational.
Yeah.
It's just I can't get them out of my head. When my stress like threshold has been exceeded.
It's like a little bit of panic you get.
I think you have to go through more stressful situations in the water.
Yeah.
To realize how minuscule those kind of concerns are.
Because you've seen my heart rate. In a race, my heart rate is highest.
It doesn't matter. Not a race,
or in general.
In general. When you swim, your heart rate's higher than any other time.
Yeah.
Get out of here, even higher than if you run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to diminish your thoughts in the water because I do like colder usually like go through like a panic. I can't catch my breath to my stroke. And then there's, doing that more often causes you adapt mentally and technique wise to know how to get past. It's not immediate. Like you're just not going to go, okay, right now I'm struggling to breathe or I'm panicking or whatever the thought is. And then you're just going to go, okay, I'm turning that off. It takes a little bit.
Yeah. And there's
and that's sure. Absolutely.
I mean, when I was reading and trying to research stuff, there's a physiological response that you can't even really control when you enter cold water and your body goes through these changes. And it's like, I think your blood vessels constrict or something.
Yeah. It's called the mammalian diving reflex.
So it's like, you can't even control it, but
But
So-
panic's not part of that.
So is that the same thing as dry drowning? Somebody
No.
said that they were doing
No,
they were
that's when-
dry drowning in the water. What does that
That's when
mean?
you hold your breath, right?
I don't
Too
know
long?
exactly what dry drowning is.
Somebody was doing an Ironman in Placid and was like, "Oh, I went in the water and I was swimming, and then I just started to like drown, and I was still swimming or something. I was dry drowning, and I was like, what is that?
Like they couldn't
don't
catch
know.
their breath
yeah, I guess
above water.
I don't know what it is.
But I was talking to someone and they were saying there was some sort of nerve branches like right here in your neck. And I can't remember the name of them, but they send a signal for the flight or fight response.
go.
We'll edit that in post. So like when
Like we always do.
Yeah.
yeah, it ends up in every episode.
It depends how funny it is if I leave it in there or not.
So when your face goes into cold water, it like sends that signal to your body, and then you get that panic, or like it's basically just a physiological response.
Yeah.
And the best way apparently to combat that is to just keep acclimating to
doing
it. So
Mm-hmm.
they said even like what this person told me, like even if you're not doing a practice swim, if you just get your face and neck in some cold water,
And then
that'll dull that response. And if
Yeah.
you do it multiple times, like 2, 3, 4 times before you swim, like then your body, when you go in, it's already desensitized to that response, and then you'll be able to handle it
It's
better.
amazing. Like, so I remember this lab from exercise physiology class that I took in college. We hooked ourselves up to EKG machines, and we had containers of water, and it was just different temperatures. And the colder the water is, you could see it on the EKG tracing. Like you just put your face in, and it just like my heart rate can go down into the 30s in
Wow.
cold water. Yeah.
So like, my lungs constrict in cold water. That's why I always go in before, just so that the body knows this is.
Yeah.
And the
So
face goes under.
I honestly
I don't even
think
need
that
to swim.
the two things you're talking about two slightly different things. The panic is coming from one thing, the vasoconstriction and the lowered heart rate, and that's a different thing. So they don't really, I mean,
One sounds like it's making you calmer.
yeah.
If you're
Yeah. So like it's called the mammalian diving reflex. It's like a holdover from
it's
way
like to help
back
you to
when.
conserve
Yeah,
your
it's
resources,
to
right?
drop the heart rate, keep blood to where it needs to go, like the trunk and the brain, and keep
that
you
happens in
alive.
cold water.
The colder the water, the more
So like how do you
extreme it
get
is.
to like that point versus
Like I said, you just need to like be in situations where you are like so I'll tell one story, and then like I don't want to talk too much about it, but there's only
a
been
sensitive topic?
no just like I don't want to bore people with it. There's only been one time in my life where I thought I was going to die, and it was we were on a dive boat off the coast of New Jersey. We were in about 190 200 feet of water.
Wasn't a carbon fiber.
No, it wasn't a carbon
Submarine,
fiber
was it?
submarine. Too soon. No, so we were wreck diving on this wreck called the Texas Tower. It was an old weather station that had fallen into the water in a hurricane. And it was 40 degrees on the bottom, about 10 feet of visibility. And I hadn't been that deep in quite a while, and never in those conditions. I got down to the bottom, and just a recurring, you're going to die. You're not making it. Like, this is it. This is like just through your head. And it mostly nitrogen narcosis, which is like air gets toxic below 100 feet or so. And like those situations made me realize like that was bad. You kicking me in the face, in a lake, in a triathlon is
Because
like
you've already
nothing.
felt really bad.
I felt really, I know what really bad
Wait,
is.
Did everybody miss the second half of that story? So then,
He didn't.
I didn't
There was
die.
no so then he's still here.
yeah, no, I know. But did you go back up? Did you stay down there? Did you calm yourself? What
We finished the dive.
Okay.
Came back onto the boat, sat around for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I went and did another dive.
And you were?
And I was okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like nitrogen narcosis, like can be like when it's like magnifies whatever you're feeling. So I was feeling that stress. And by the second dive, I knew like it was what it was. I knew what that feeling was, and I was better.
But that only nitrogen narcosis only happens at depth.
Yes. The deeper you go, the more extreme it is. Like, so basically what I started doing after that dive was anytime I would do really deep stuff, I would use helium, because helium's not narcotic. So there would be helium mixed in with my gas instead of air. Like I said, I didn't want to tell the story because it's like this is going to bore people. And
Oh wait, You can survive on helium?
No, well, like a mixture of helium. So like air is 79% nitrogen, 21%
What was your voice
oxygen.
like after?
Like Donald Duck. Yeah. And that's how you test it. Like
he didn't even go under. He was just in his bedroom with helium infused in his tank, just sucking it in.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, exactly like that. So you'd mix the gas for the dive that you were doing, and it'd be 30% helium and 20% nitrogen.
Does it make you lightheaded?
No.
But it relaxes you.
No, it just doesn't make you feel intoxicated
because
underwater.
you have less oxygen in your.
No, it's the nitrogen that causes the problems.
Oh,
I mean, oxygen can cause problems. Oxygen is really toxic at depth, so it's like I don't want to.
This is confusing now.
Yeah,
it's called nitrogen narcosis.
Nobody's diving in a triathlon.
Right,
but oxygen is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought you said the 20% nitrogen. You still kept the 20% nitrogen, and you added 30% helium, so you had 50% oxygen.
No. Whatever the math works out. It depends. You'd mix for the dive that you were doing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's beyond a triathlon podcast.
I might just start breathing helium before a swim.
That won't help
because maybe just.
It's probably not going to help.
I think I have nitrogen narcosis. I think the symptoms sound
you
very similar.
Have narcosis of something.
Narcosis of something. Yeah.
Something is happening.
I was 20 centimeters below surface.
Yeah. There is a small percentage happening.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just very sensitive to it, I think, is what it is.
To
I
what?
mean, it's one of the like
nitrogen narcosis.
Oh.
You didn't spend a lot of time in the water like as a kid probably. Like and
no.
I spent a ton of time.
I grew up with Jaws, like that movie. I didn't want to go in oceans.
That movie made me want to become a marine biologist.
Really?
So the opposite. Like you embraced the water.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no oceans for me.
And you knew that shark wasn't real?
Well, I mean, like in reality, it was a similar kind of situation. You know, the scene in Jaws where like the little kid's on the floaty and gets attacked. The
underneath, the underwater.
Kid, you know, in the original Jaws. So I was down on a beach in Florida. And without the shark attack thing, but the same thing happened. This lady was out too far on a floaty. Lifeguard blows his whistle, says, come back in. As soon as she puts her hands and feet in the water, the shark fin pops up behind her.
Stop it.
I swear to God. The shark follows her back in the whole way.
Into everybody else.
And you're a kid, you watch this.
4 or 5 years old.
Oh my God.
I remember my grandma and my mom grabbed me by the hand, one each hand, and like launched
towards the shark.
Now I'm probably 100 yards away from where this is happening, but they freaking fling my little 5-year-old ass out of the water, and then everybody on the beach is just watching this. No, like we all have seen, like everybody on the beach. I probably hadn't seen it at 5 years old, but had seen Jaws and knew what was supposed to happen in 3 seconds, and it never happened. And that like sparked the interest in me. I was like, why didn't that lady get eaten by a shark? I wanted to learn about it.
Video on whatever, just a second, like, I don't know, I just watched it.
Oh, the tiger shark?
The woman just like says, you're not supposed to like flail your fins or whatever in front of the shark because see it like starts to follow you. Like you just calmly stay there, and as it comes close, you put your hand on its nose and guide it away.
There's this woman, something Ramsey. I can't remember.
Gordon?
No.
This woman is a famous chef.
Ocean Ramsey. She swims with great whites. Like no cage, just free dives, touches them, like hangs on it.
I was just going to say, so did
she touches that with a hand.
Crocodile guy.
Yeah. With the one hand she has left.
So swim with sharks and triathlons will be easier for you.
That was one thing he said is like once that fear happened, he knew that anything that was happening in the getting kicked or anything didn't matter. So maybe we just need to like, I don't know, scare you in some like go skydiving.
Well, so I mean, when the races I've done, I've now been swum over, like someone grabbed my head thinking they were grabbing water, and then they did their pull, which just pushed me underwater.
Your head is like water.
At, Muscle Man.
Punch somebody hard.
So hard.
But it just happens so like it just happens.
What
like,
I don't get is like when your hand first touches someone, don't you know like you're hitting someone? So like now pull away.
No, I feel like it's the weaker swimmers who just continue to stroke.
Yeah. It was just it felt like I didn't know who it was. I couldn't see him. Because I was underwater, but it felt like it was like a massive person. It could have been you. Who knows? Like, but it just felt like this massive person. Like they grabbed my head and then just continued to pull. So then I just go under, and then you feel their body go over you.
God.
So I'm like, like that was jarring.
I would have uppercutted them right.
That's the move.
I would have taken them down. I would have grabbed the foot and just climbed right over on top of them.
Brought them underwater, stared at, shook them real
hard.
Yeah,
like so I would have gotten on their shoulders and be like, how's this feel?
So that happened. So then now I'm like all like worried about contact. So I'm trying to avoid people so like I don't get in anyone's path or I don't hit someone else either. I don't want to do that to them either. So I guess it just like built up. But my new thing that I've embraced is I just seek contact now, and in a somewhat controlled environment. So my new thing, and I'm trying to recruit as many people as possible, is when we go to the lake. Like normally, we if we do get there around the same time, everyone just kind of does their own thing.
Yeah.
Now, like last week, we tried what I tried practicing was drafting the entire time at minimum, so just on someone's feet the whole time, or like purposely try to get side by side as close as possible
That's good.
and see if I could stay next to them. And then of course you can't. And either I'm zigzagging or the other person is just banging into each other. Stroke gets interrupted. But in the beginning I was a little like, you know, even though I knew who it was, like it still kind of jarred me. But then by the end of the swim, I think I was at least 50% to, if not 80% better. So I think
I love how he puts numbers on it.
I love his percentages.
Because it's not a black or white thing. It's always, there's different levels.
It's not black or white, but it's 83.5%.
And next week he'll be 84.
It might be like 78. I don't know. But I'm hoping to get to that 100% comfort level.
I'm with you. Because that is the biggest thing that makes me uncomfortable in a race is the people around me. I'm not afraid I'm going to hit somebody or get in somebody's way. I don't care. They got to go around me. But I am afraid that I'm going to get hit. Like being behind somebody, I'm afraid I'm going to get kicked. And
if we're going around the table, fears and stuff, I would say that's probably more open water-ish, like ocean-y type stuff, where it's like waves or currents or like not being able to grab the flow of the water and breathing. Like it's just sometimes that in like, especially in ocean is if there's
I mean, that's something you
currents.
could go to the beach and let the waves just beat the shit out of you. Right.
No,
like
that's a lot.
That's a fear I haven't had to encounter yet.
But that's something like once you like go through that a couple, like as a kid, like you're body surfing and you just get those waves crash on you, right? Like that's a stressful situation. Like if you can live through that.
Wave crashed me and dislocated my shoulder.
Oh,
okay.
So it just hit me right against the bottom.
See, but it's different. I did last year. I tried surfing at LBI, and I got pummeled by waves. But it's not the same.
Yeah, it's something weird about.
No, it's not the same. But I think what it does is it lets you see that, like, I made it through. Like that didn't. Like I was okay with that.
I think it's also just the whole thing with like you're also like racing, so like me, my heart rate is not low when I'm swimming, so I'm like already at this like heightened state of like exertion. So it's like I'm trying to race and survive, not drown, and then all these people around you. So it's just there's a lot going on. So I have to somehow.
I bet, in addition to just getting doing all that stuff, I bet that if you spent 3 weeks swimming every day in open water, like huge improvement.
Yeah, for sure. Because doing it all the time.
I don't even care about the distance, even if it's 20 minutes, but every day.
But I'm okay. Like if I'm by myself, because that's how I usually would practice at the lake, and I'm just by myself swimming, it's fine. But then I remember sometimes someone would come nearby or get startled, like ooh, and then like So my initial response was always, oh, let me stop or move away. But now
you're leaning into them.
I'm like trying to crash into people now. I mean, it was fun. Like I was trying to feel the draft. I didn't know how close you're supposed to be, but I was basically trying to time it that my stroke, when I would reach, it would be like right on, like almost touching feet.
Yeah.
And then I could feel, if I couldn't see the feet, then I would just like feel the propulsion from the feet and just kind of search that area. So I was like, felt like a Jedi. I was just like, my hand was going out there to try to feel the force. And I would just grab into there. And so, it was a good experience. And then like, we'd switch back and forth. So swimming with Koichi, all of a sudden I feel like this, like someone like clasping my heels while swimming. I was like,
it was Koichi.
And I was like, why does Koichi swim like that? Like who swims like, I was expecting like to get like, hit or poke, but it was like someone, like I felt the squeezing of my heel.
Was he trying to get your attention?
Then he told me he was, I'm going to drag your feet down.
You should. And then he told me he was cracking up in the water, but then he realized like we can't really hear each other. And then we went back to the end, and then he told me he did that on purpose. But I was like, oh, okay. So I was like thinking like, are you like swimming like this?
He's really trying to grab the water.
Like he was like a lobster, like in the water. yeah, it's helping. So I invite everybody to
Come
give it a
drown.
shot.
Next week I'm there.
That's what
Yeah.
we'll call it. Come drown James
Yeah,
swim.
it's drown proofing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, you could do that. They offer those somewhere, I'm sure.
What?
When they do drown proof training. Oh, that's insane. They like tie your hands and your feet.
Oh no.
And throw you in a pool.
No. There's no need for
And
that.
then what?
So you bounce, right? And you calm yourself. You take a breath.
Take a breath where?
You
So
bounce off the
Yeah,
bottom.
you jump
Oh,
off.
Come up, take a
Come
breath.
up, take a breath, then you're going back down. Or like I think I've seen somewhere you can possibly float with your face up for a little bit.
That's fine in a pool.
I mean,
It's all about building comfort in the water.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like
That's what they did to Chris Hemsworth. In
yeah,
that show.
that's he did
Yes,
he did drown
he
proof
did
training.
that,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
Uh-huh.
what it was.
Anyone else have their tips on how they get over any anxiety or fear? Or am I the only one?
Well, I said it. You just try to get yourself to that point as many times as you can.
Lean into it.
Mhm.
Yep.
Just constantly expose myself to stress in the water.
I remember swimming in currents that were hard, and like if you didn't swim hard enough, you weren't making progress. And that's kind of like another.
Should
Yeah.
I purposely like sprint in the water?
Yes,
And just elevate my heart rate as
Yes.
much as possible?
that's what I do. I sometimes just like go all out for whatever.
I think
minute
once you
or two.
calm down and stop being so stressed about all this stuff, that your heart rate will come down.
Like tomorrow, I'm not going to wear a wetsuit. I'm
Yeah.
just going to wear my swim skin to unlock some more mental toughness.
Good for you.
Because we have, if I'm going to do NJ State, most likely.
right, it's not
That's
going
not
to be.
going to be wetsuit. Yeah.
So that's smart.
Mm-hmm. And you already did that race without a wetsuit. Your first race.
I was just
mean,
ignorant back then, though.
Oh my god. It was your first race.
I was just dumb. I
Yeah.
didn't know any better.
Hmm.
I didn't know what to be afraid. But then the water's, I think a lot
really
of it's,
warm.
I think a lot of it's the temperature of the
We'll
water.
also knock the goggles off for you.
That would, I mean, if I didn't have the chance of losing my goggles in the water, I'd
Just,
do it.
just tap it a little bit. Just get a little water
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
I'm getting all these ideas. I'm like, oh,
Oh
I
no.
But like
feel
if you
I
if you
could
like
come along and
Someone touches my goggles, I'm going to punch you.
So I'll do it with a stick.
you don't have the longest reach, Marilyn. I feel like I could get in there.
But yeah, I don't know. I will see how this goes. If the group gets bigger and bigger in the mornings, and we're just all in this little pack, and then we just figure out
Yeah.
Mhm.
drafting
be
each other,
fun.
staying on each other's hips,
Mhm.
bumping into each other.
Yeah.
Could be good.
I think I've said it, but like there's a decent number of open water ocean swims down on the Jersey Shore, like ocean miles and stuff like that, that like lifeguard patrols and stuff put on as fundraisers throughout the
Mhm.
summer. You know, a lot of them are like on weekday nights and stuff. Like you can find them, and those are good because they're usually pack swims. You know, so they're not like the time trial. So you are going to have that contact. You're going to be in a little bit rougher conditions and stuff like that.
Not rougher.
So
Especially at the start.
Mhm.
Those are fun.
get to deal with waves, like all that stuff. The more like, yeah, it just goes back to what Rich has said a bunch, like put yourself in tough situations, come out of them, and then realize like you handled that. Most of the stuff you're going to see is going to be easier than that. So
Yeah, like I'm switched now to like walking in. I'm more scared because like my slicing my foot, right? So it's like
So we should have you
Oh.
walk on glass.
Yeah, pretty
We're
much.
going to hear
Nails.
about that foot slice for years to come.
We should.
Yeah.
We have to literally callous your feet.
Yeah.
Like, I'll callous my mind. You callous your feet.
Yeah.
he's going to start walking around in those like little water shoes.
Yeah. He's going to swim in those
Actually, you know what I'll
jellies.
do is
Those
I'll
jelly
practice
shoes.
drafting off of you, but I won't cut my nails,
Okay.
and I'll just keep scratching your feet.
That's
It's
great.
not while I'm swimming. It's while I'm walking into the rocks.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's two birds with one stone.
Awesome. Any other tips for open water swimming?
Should try tickling the person's feet in front of you too.
Yeah.
So can
I mean, let them know.
I had a
you're gonna do
question.
it, maybe.
No.
I don't know.
do we think the Garmin is as accurate in open water as it is in the pool swim?
No,
Because it has to use satellites, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's underwater. It's
And
not
it's
getting any
underwater for
satellite
something.
underwater, so it's
I've-
only above. It's only getting satellites.
Oh, that's why my
I've
numbers are
read
so
that-
slow.
I've read that if you change If you change it to, I forget what
like
it
one
is.
of the
Like
different types.
GLONASS?
yeah.
I don't know anything about
and how
those.
often?
And it updates the GPS.
Yeah, how often? Like I think you could do to like 1 second or something like that.
Because I'm often surprised, right? So I switched to give me the notifications every 200. And I'm often surprised. I'm like, that could not have been so. I either swam longer. That could not have been that much slower. Like I'll get like, I don't know, whatever. It'll be like 4:30 to 3:50. I'm like, that's not.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
I don't ever have that much of a difference in mine.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of curious. I'm like, it's got to be the GPS update. It didn't update here. And then I'm like, I'm curious to see what it looks like afterwards. Did it make me like go out on, sometimes it has you like on the beach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
We need some underwater satellites.
Yeah.
Don't think that's how satellites work. I think we only get them in space. Yeah, I mean, there are times where it comes out with a number that I'm like kind of surprised by, but never drastic.
I find that on bad weather days, cloudy days or whatever,
Yeah.
it's more off than in like clear.
Okay. I mean, that
days.
maybe makes sense. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just don't think you're going to swim as fast in open water
Yeah.
as you are in the pool, but
And sighting slows you down for sure.
Who needs to sight?
yeah, I even
Yeah.
noticed like I caught myself when we were at Eagle Man, like because the way I sight, like my head, I was swimming with my head more up than I normally do.
Than
And I
head
just
down.
had to like be like, listen, just take 10 strokes, head down. And I
Yeah.
felt like as soon as I did that, I was like, whew,
Mhm.
faster.
Mm.
So like you form and stuff like that. I think making the turns in a pool, like it almost is like
Reset.
your walk break when you're running, it's a form reset, and you start from scratch each time, where in the open water, it can get worse and worse and worse. So that might have something to do with it. But
Maybe.
I notice like
So
sometimes
it's not the buoy.
I
fine.
don't think it's the GPS.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
anybody else?
Well, apparently it's just me that has problems, but
You-
No, it's not just
I think
you.
everybody
have
does.
problems.
I like open water swimming. I still get nervous though with people around me for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're not making it
Yeah.
less than what it is. I get panicked in the water sometimes too, but just having enough of those experiences, you get more comfortable.
Mhm.
it just takes time.
Yeah.
Because like even if it's at first like, let's say you go hard, can't catch your breath. I panic. I turn over. I catch my breath. I go back. Right. And then a few times I've just like swim through that and don't turn over. And then you just kind of keep doing the same, like try to swim, figure out other ways than to stop or than to start switching your stroke or switching how you breathe, whatever. You kind of, learn how to deal with it.
Increase my threshold.
Yeah.
Got it.
84%.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's all it takes.
After
1% a
after
day.
tomorrow, you're gonna be
Hopefully,
another
I'm breaking.
2%
Yeah,
better.
hopefully I break into the mid 80s. That's all I really need.
Show up with a shark fin on my back.
What's the thing? I just don't want to be like they say. You can't win the race in the swim, but you can lose
Yeah.
it. And I totally understand that. Like when I had a bad swim, it was in my head. I was like, I got to make up this time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you start pushing yourself on the bike, and now you're overbiked, and then your run is destroyed. So it's
Yeah.
like because my swim was bad, and I felt like it. So if I can just be calm.
We've
Mhm.
seen those guys last race, backstroke. What was a backstroke? We both saw somebody backstroke. I think it was last race. Somebody's just like, I got this. Doing backstroke through the water.
All right, that's it.
There's no more. There's no more alcohol.
We're good.
Oh, it's empty.
I think so.
I have some more.
It's dangerous.
All right, folks. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Quad Pod. Hopefully you learned something about smoke inhalation and open water swimming. So thank you all for listening, and we'll be back next week. Take care, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Next Level Quad Pod. We really appreciate you spending time with us and listening to everything that we have to offer. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review and a rating. Those little things go a long way towards us being able to bring you more content like this. If you'd like to learn more about what we have to offer, please go to our website at goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the different things we provide that can help you reach your athletic potential.
Thank you again for finding time in your busy schedule to spend some time with the Quad Pod.